Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton of markrushton.com. It is Wednesday, June 16th, 2022. Kind of unusual, kind of a sort of a mid-afternoon daily art and music chat. I'm just going to kind of ramble here to the camera. I need to talk to listen, camera, nothing wrong with you, but we need to have a little talk. And so I'm just going to, also, I need a little break from all the insanity. So what's been going on? Well, ran out for a little errand, which was, of course, about as fun as nothing. Actually, the place I went to, the customer service was fantastic, but I could tell a million stories just from the 3 minutes I was in there. And but it's all good. But on the way there, I got to deal with the what do I have to deal with? Oh, a tailgater like you could not believe. Like some dude in a pickup truck just like inches from my bumper on the interstate. And it's just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to act stupid. I'm just going to kind of slow down to about 59. Not brake, just kind of, like, oh, well, And that did it. He went around me. And go. Keep doing that. And drive fast and get those speeding tickets. You know what I mean? So just the karma in the air is just, not so good. Then I come home and I got to show you this photo here. I took this photo. I was gone for 10 minutes, literally gone for 10 minutes just to run to a store and pick something up. And it was, it was pretty easy. I come back and FedEx is driving away and they did this. FedEx has done some stupid things in the past. For a long time, they used to deliver all my boxes coated in gravel dust because apparently they drive the country route to get here, not the hard surface roads, but the gravel roads. And, so like I guess all their trucks had rust damage in the back. And so all that gravel dust would go into the box part of the truck or whatever it is. And it would just coat. I mean, like you couldn't read anything on the box. That's how coated it was. And so I'd go out there and I'd grab the box and put it up on my shirt. And it was like, oh no, I got to change my shirt and wash my hands and clean this box. And then you're like opening the box. I open the box in the garage because there's just gravel dust everywhere. I'm complaining. And then, you lodge. Eventually they fixed that or took that truck out of service or whatever. But it's just like, if gravel dust is getting up into that compartment, carbon monoxide is also getting into that compartment. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if the process, rust hole, delivery truck, gravel dust, also carbon monoxide. And if it's a diesel, yeah, you're also rolling coal and all that sort of stuff. Like think about your processes, people. Process is everything. People are very myopic, it's whether you're tailgating me when you don't need to, there's two other lanes, and the traffic's pretty light these days. You just go around me. I don't take it as a personal affront if you want to drive 90 on the interstate. I'm not going to be in that lane. Just get around me. Just go. What drugs are you on? But process is really kind of the key here. So yeah, they put the package way out here. It's not like I don't have a covered entryway. Luckily, it's supposed to rain later. There's a chance of rain later. It's like, why'd you put the box all the way out there? As you can see, it's in the sun and it's, it was past midday. Oh my God. I'm not going to complain except this. I'll say this. It's just like, the post office is everybody kids the post office, but at least the post office around here, they do care somewhat. They do care more than FedEx. I don't know who they've hired at FedEx. It's like idiocracy. So yeah, the guy's driving away, and it's like, did your metrics prevent you from moving in an extra 7 feet closer to the door, or kind of out of the way? I mean, it's not like I live on a busy road or anything. I actually kind of live on what they call a private drive, so we don't get too much traffic. But don't you have processes in place and where you should probably be putting those boxes? It's not like we don't get notifications, and some people do anyway. I don't know. So anyway, I got the box right here, and we're going to open it up here in a minute. I do want to talk about something else that is process oriented, and that is with regard to my recordings. And I've been a 100% recording, independent recording artist now for over 20 years. Been a member of ASCAP for 20 years. I've been using electronic distributors since 2004, when I uploaded my first album to CD Baby. And I use a whole bunch of different ones there. And what can I say? CD Baby, been very, very good to me. Not a problem. And I publish under a lot of different names. And so anyway, recently I figured out that there was a problem with a streaming service and one of the artist names that I publish under. And like everything was gone. Like the royalties had completely dried up. And then I went out to the site, because I actually have an account out there. I don't use it, or I barely use it. And yeah, all the albums, EPs, singles were gone. Everything was gone. And it was like, what's going on? And then I contacted the streaming service, and they're like, contact your distributor. So I contacted my distributor, and this distributor is in England, and they're usually pretty slow, but they did get back to me pretty quickly. And I actually had sort of two different tickets opened up with regard to this. And as luck would have it, I got two different answers as to what's going on. I think both of them are wrong. And of course, I'll follow up on this eventually. I'll do a follow-up video on this eventually. But the first one was just like, the streaming service had a change in policy, so all your stuff was removed. And it was just like, what? Huh? Oh, they don't want the kind of recordings that you have released through them. And I'm like, that's funny. I was on a Zoom call with people at that company last week, and they were they love that sort of stuff. They've said that for years. And in fact, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but they're actually kind of expanding that. So I kind of don't believe you. I kind of have my finger on the pulse of what's going on around here. And with regard to electronic distributor customer service, it's pretty, those people don't really know what's going on. And I will give them that. I used to, a long time ago, I used to be like, not nice, but I would be a little more assertive, I guess. And now I'm just like, yeah, I don't think you really know. I'm going to go contact so-and-so at this company, and he can escalate. I was on a call with him last week. They don't know who that is. I know who that is. I know who these people are. Be friendly with everybody. Be as nice as you can with everybody. Be nice until it's time to not be nice, which is try to be never, try to always work it out. We can work it out, right? Life is very short. So then I got a second reply on the second ticket, and that guy essentially accused me of streaming fraud. And I was just like, oh, we're going down this road, huh? We're going down this road again. And I said, what? Where's the proof of that? Right? Because I've never heard of that. Oh, I've experienced that before, where streaming services have accused me of streaming fraud, but it turns out it's, I don't know what it is. They have some sort of process in place to look for people who do streaming fraud, and then they blame the artist, which makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. I have a long history with this distributor, and I have a long history with this streaming service. So, and I do not engage, never do not engage in streaming fraud. It's stupid. All of these streaming services and distributors are data companies. They do look for this sort of stuff, but I don't think they do it in a very intelligent way. I think they do it in the cheapest, stupidest way possible. And then there's all these automated processes, which eventually end up with some low level employee. And not to knock low level employees, but they're not going to go to bat for you, particularly artists. Listen, I say this about musicians out there, that so many of the musicians out there, all they want are the cheat codes. All they want is just to be famous. All they want is for fame and fortune and everything that goes with it, right? And I'm so far beyond that, you have no idea. And so the idea that I would go and do that sort of thing is just beyond absurd. I don't have time for it. I have day job, I've got family, I've got lots of different interests and stuff like that. The only time I ever play my music is like, oh, it's on the service. Let me just see. Does it stream? Oh, that's good. Next. So the guy accused me of that, and I sent a reply back, and I said, I don't think you're right. In fact, I actually opened up this other ticket, referenced the other ticket, and I think she's wrong too. And he actually got back to me pretty quick, and he sort of apologized. And okay, whatever, that's fine. That's how you treat artists, disrespectfully. You accuse them of streaming fraud with absolutely no evidence. And he essentially he must have conferred with the gal, because she said there was a change in policy. There was a change in policy and whatever. And I thought about it for a little bit, and I thought, you know what? I think I know what happened. I think the streaming service had a change in policy with regard to the name of the artist moniker. This is stuff that's not released under my name, but it's stuff I came up with a moniker 7 years ago and started releasing stuff. And I didn't have any problem until I started having a problem a couple of years ago with, certain distributors, but not this one. And I think what has happened is that Pandora has changed some sort of policy with regard to the artist name. My artist name was chosen based on what I thought was SEO. And SEO is just, who gives a crap about SEO? I could have just named the band the something original, but just some innocuous word that just doesn't even, pale brown walls or something like that. It could have been that. It could have been the dirty carpet or whatever, right? As long as there's not another band out there with that name, you just call it whatever. I could call it the Empty Boxes, right? So yeah, I got back to him, and I was very nice, and I said, you know what? I think you guys are both wrong. I think you need to look into it a little bit deeper. I said, I'm contacting the people I know at the streaming service, and they're going to, they can escalate and figure it out. It's probably just again, somebody changed the process, and then they implemented some sort of stupid automation that I got caught up in the wake of it, and here we are. I'm having to spend time dealing with it, and it's frustrating. And then, of course, along the way, idiocracy rules the day, and I get accused of streaming fraud. Suddenly it becomes that. So you have to have a thick skin, a thick armor. You have to understand it. I feel sorry for musicians who experience this the first time. I've got some war wounds along the way here with distributors. So I've gotten better at tempering myself. And talking, I got to talk to the camera. Who am I going to talk to? I'm not going to tell this to my wife, for God's sakes. Oh, by the way, honey, blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Where's dinner? I'll make you dinner. I'll do it right. Do it much better than the restaurant does it. Let me just tell you right there. So anyway, it's just a ramble. It's just a ramble. It's just a rant. I know what it's going to. I'm going to predict what it's going to be. They changed a policy with regard to the use of a particular word or words in an artist moniker, and I got caught up in it, and they zapped everything from there. It had nothing to do with the content. It had nothing to do with the type or genre of sounds that I was releasing. It had nothing to do with that. If I had called the band the Glass Cases, everything would have been, I think everything would have been fine. So we'll figure that out. If they want to, if they, maybe the streaming service will make an exception, probably not. And then I'm going to have to figure out how to, maybe I'll just move on. I might just move on from there and just go, well, what are you going to do? Right. But maybe they'll let me pick a different name and re-upload everything with the same UPC and ISRC codes. I mean, that's possible. They might force me to redo all the artwork. I'd do that. A lot of work, but I could do that. I know how to do batches and stuff like that. So that sort of stuff. So anyway, that's what I've been, that's on the periphery. And of course here, let's yeah. Listen, I don't want to talk too much about the day job, but I finally got a new laptop, and finally have some time to install software on it. And this has been nothing but a nightmare, because of, listen, I'm not going to talk about it. It's been a little bit of a problem. And then my headset here, as you can see, is has a little bit of a wound on it. And then the process for getting it replaced was to the point where it was like, you know what? We're just going to get out Mr. Duct Tape. We're going to do Mr. Duct Tape, and that's fine. It's still comfortable. I don't have duct tape on my ears and things like that. So where are we here? Let's do an unboxing. So yeah, everything's kind of in flux there. I'm dealing with just a lot of idiocracy and bad processes and getting caught in the wake of all that sort of stuff. Basically, all you can do is wait it out. Try to be patient. Try not to lose your cool. My attitude is just like, well, they're going to do what they're going to do. And you try to be persuasive, and you try to offer up suggestions. And if they don't want to listen to you, or they ghost you, then you have to go alternative routes, right? Warn people there. Hey, no one listens to you. And what else is going on? I'm thinking about doing a course, a bunch of courses, actually creating a bunch of courses for the music side on Teachable. I got kind of schooled on that last night. And so I already have, we're going to unbox this here. I already knew about Teachable, but I've never used it or anything like that. But then there was a podcast I was listening to last night, and they were sort of explaining how they use Teachable for, it's like, oh, instead of going and saying the same thing over and over again to different people, why don't you just have a course out on Teachable? Then you just do it once, and you can charge for it if you want. And, I'm going to charge for it. People won't like it. They won't like that I'm charging for it, right? But that's the way that it goes, right? So, what is this that you ordered? I so infrequently order pedals. I ordered one a few months ago, and then that was a debacle. As it turned out, when I sent it back, it got stolen in Chicago, which, that's kind of par for the course, right? But let me show you my, this is what I use to make music. part of what I use to make beats. This is the secret sauce, right? So it's my two Empress boxes. I have an Empress Reverb and an Empress Echo system, and they are connected together, and they just do the most beautiful, wonderful, otherworldly sounds out of that. That's how I make that one sustained ambient music and variations of that sort of thing. So I've got those. Those are not cheap, and I keep them in a laptop bag, because at one point I got a gig bag, and that was a debacle too. That thing just completely fell apart. I zipped it up on the third time of zipping it up, and the zipper went way out of. I'm at 20 minutes already. Let's get this box unboxed here. Let me show you what I got here. So the problem that I've had with the music, is that I largely make music. Well, I have a couple of instruments here. I have a lap steel. I have a bass clarinet with a pickup on it. I have a kalimba that sort of has an output, and some other things. But largely I use apps. I use a bunch of different applications out there, mainly on the iPad, sometimes on iOS. And the problem is changing octaves. Some of the apps let you change octaves easily, and others do not. And so I wanted the ability to change octaves. And so I got the Electro Harmonix Pitchfork Plus. This is like the second edition of the Electro Harmonix Pitchfork. The original Pitchfork was a little bit smaller, a little bit cheaper, less expensive. Let's just put it that way. But this thing, I've seen videos on it, and all the videos on YouTube that I could find, it's all guitarists, and they're just shredding, and it's like they have a chorus. It's like they have a chorus. And I was just like, I'd gone to Empress and I said, hey, do you have an octave switch or anything like that? And they're like, well, we have this thing and you could sort of program it too. And I'm like, bye. Because the thing I love about the Empress pedals is they're so easy to use. They're just they're so easy to use. And they're just knobs. They're not really menus or anything like that. You can say presets. I never say presets. I don't care. My music is recorded live. The only time I ever do anything with a DAW is when I'm multi-tracking. I know I'm absolutely weird about this sort of thing. Most musicians are working. They play on a guitar, and they have amps, and they have DAWs, Logic, Pro Tools, Reaper, whatever. And I don't work that way. I work live, because it's ambient, it's electronic music. If I want to throw a beat on it or something like that, then I throw it in the DAW and just add it over top here. I love this. It comes with a AC/DC adapter. Done dirt cheap. An AC/DC adapter. The AC/DC adapter. That is hilarious. The thing I love about this is that you can shift both up and down. So there's two shifts. So you can shift it an octave up, or you can shift it an octave down, or you can shift it partway up or partway down, and you can do things like, I guess, fifths. Don't ask me about that. That's getting into jazz territory. That's getting into music theory. I need to consult the Beato book, which I don't have. But I saw some people using different examples of that. I'm just like, oh, I'm in love. What's that song? So I'm just, it's got these inputs, the outputs. I think I have enough chords for everything. Probably not short chords, but whatever, we'll make do. That's all right. This is the one thing I really, really have been searching for some time. And I know these have been out here for a long time, but that's where we are. And so it's here, and I'm happy, right? So I'm after a day like this with all sorts of things going wrong. Well, what else could go wrong, right? And so I'm just gonna put that aside down here in the box, and look what I bought here. I bought the demo version. It had been used at some point. That doesn't bother me. I think my Empresses are scratch and dents. There's no scratches and no dents on them. So anyway, that's where we are. Just a long rant. Listen, I just need a little break. I just need a little cooling down period here. And because I mean, that's just like, really? Yeah, really. Really, not a big deal. At least it wasn't stolen, right? Free shipping. You know what free shipping is worth these days? It's worth raising your prices, that's for sure. All right, that is it for this afternoon. Enough of a rant. I will see about later. Probably not. I'm gonna I'm gonna play with the pedal here after work. I got to get back to all the problems with the loading software on that laptop. That's okay. I get paid for doing this. All right, get some gambling jokes for you. Talk to you later.